Hello there, this is Patricia from Pinky's World, and today I'm back using the framed florets and the matching papers. Goodness, I can't remember what you call them already. What do you call you? Fitting florets. That should have been easy, shouldn't it? So I'm making a Funfold card today, and I hope maybe you'll have a wee go at it yourself. So this is the stamp set that I'm using. I've stamped these little flowers out here. I'll tell you about them when we get over there, and I've used 2 of the sentiments for this card as well, and the die cuts too. I've used the oval. I've gone with an oval Funfold. So let's get started. These are the new bundle. I'm sure I've told you about them, but they're only available for a certain amount of time. They're sort of a limited edition, especially the papers, so if you want them, please get them. Right, this is the card that we're going to make, and for this one I've gone with all the darker colours, the evening evergreen, you call it, and one of the lovely papers. This is the die that we used. These are the little flowers. Stamped them out in the evening evergreen and used my Wink of Stella pen to just drag a wee bit of the colour, and you can see it just gives it a wee bit of depth there and a lovely wee sparkle. And I cut these out and ink them up with a bit of the evening evergreen. Rather than leave them really white, I wanted to go just sort of this kind of colour, which is a lighter version of it. And then I cut 2 of the smaller leaves out. And the stamping's all done in the evening evergreen as well. So when you open this, you get this inside and this pulls out. So that is actually the front of your card. But as you can see, I've decorated around the edges too, just to embellish it even more. This is the sentiment inside, wishes for a beautiful birthday, and I've used this wee die as well. So I wanted to show you just how to do it. It's really simple and easy, and I thought it was a lovely wee way to incorporate your nice ovals if you have got this set. So we'll have to put it this side and see what you need. So you're going to need for your base card. Right, I've actually run out of evening evergreen. Raging at myself, absolutely raging, because I had all the papers cut and realised I had no flipping card left. So I changed it to another colour that comes in that set anyway. It's the balmy blue. So we'll do our background in it, and you need the card to measure 8 inches by 5.5 inches. And to decorate that, you're going to need a wee piece of whatever DSP. I could go with a flower, but I'm deciding to go with this. It's more striking and it'll stand out well. So this needs to measure 5.25 by 3.75. Now, all these measurements on my blog, so if you get mixed up or muddled, that's where you'll find them. So inside we're going to need a piece of your basic white card, and it needs to measure 5 inches by 7.5. And to decorate it, you need 2 strips of either the matching or a coordinating one, whichever you want. Again, I'm just going with the plain colours. And they need to measure 1 5/8 by 4 3/4. So it should all tone in nicely. You'll need one of your nice dies cut, this fancy one. You'll also need some kind of an oval yourself. If you have oval dies, try and get one that is close enough to that. Doesn't have to be perfect, but certainly slightly smaller than your outer. And then for the inside one, you need to cut one of these nice wee ones, and this is actually what you get when you cut the basic one, so keep it for your inside. So that is all you need really, other than decorating it. So you actually need this to cut through both the papers when we get those sorted, so I'll show you that when I come to it. So you start off with your basic card, and we're going to score it in half, just so we know it's 8 inches wide, so we just need to score it at 4 inches. Now our card in the UK and Ireland comes at 8.25. I just chopped the quarter off because it really brings you into 1/16 and all this when you're trying to work out your measurements, and it's just drive you insane. So just cut that quarter off. It's still a decent enough card. I think it's a nice wee size because it opens out more, you know, when you have it sitting up, it's going to be really, you know, flamboyant up there. It's going to be big enough. So do that first, right? And then go and get your white piece, and we're going to score it at the longest side. This is awful wobbly today, whatever's going on. So we need to score it at 3 6/8. So 3 4, 5, 6. So just score it down there, and then we want to go move over slightly, and we need to go to 5 5/8. So there's 5, and that's 4/8, and one mark is 5/8. So you're going to those wee tiny marks, since you can't see it. Those wee, that you know that's 4.5. So that's 4/8, 5/8. So you know to go down the 5/8, even though it's a smaller mark. The counting two is really the big marks. So that is all the scoring you need to do. And you could stick on your nice piece of paper now. This is cut perfectly to fit here. It's 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/4. So we'll just stick it on with our glue. You want to give it a good stick because you're actually cutting part of this out in a second. But we'll let it dry before we do that. So stick it to the front of your card, just centering it nicely. I think it's nice and striking, and it's perfectly matched, which you know is our favourite thing. So you can put this, make sure it's all lined up, fold the back on itself, give it a wee fold, and then something hanging off me, a bit of glue. Fold that one back like so, and that gives you that nice wee shape. So that will be your inside. We can now stick on our wee bits of paper, and I'm just thinking, I think I'll put the light one to the outside and then go with the darker one on the inside. Again, just square them up. They measure 1 5/8 by 4 3/4. If you're following this size, you can make this card any size at all. You just work out the dimensions. You're going down 1/2 inch for the inside part. So whatever size you use on the outside, go down 1/2 inch all round for the inside, and that'll keep you right if you're making a bigger card. Right, that's our insides done. We could stamp a nice version now. For the inside one, I went with Wishes for a Beautiful Birthday, so I'm going to go in the matching ink, which is balmy blue. I hope this is still wet enough because it's been a while. I think this is one of my first colours I bought nearly 5 years ago, so I'm going to check it out here in case it's lost its... not bad, not bad. You can either buy a new pad when it goes done, or you can buy the re-inkers and ink it up again so that you get more years out of it. So I'm just going to get that in the centre, I hope. Centre but up a wee bit to leave you room to sign your name to and from or whatever. And that's that one out of the way. So we can set this to one side. We need to go now and get our... close this for a second. We need to cut our circle, our oval out, so that we can plonk this on the front, and this is the best one I have now. Stampin' Up! Don't have the ovals anymore other than the ovals you get in this particular set, so it's nice to have them back, but if you're needing to do the inside, then you know, hook out your old ovals of dies of some sort. If you haven't got it, if you're really good, you could draw and cut it out by hand. You're not going to see the roughness of it, and if you happen to think that the other side is a bit rough, you could cut one of these out and stick it to the other side of it, which I might do yet because I can see a tiny wee bit of white, so I might stick the matching oval in white at the back of this. So that'll cover up any mistakes or roughness that you leave. So we're going to put this on now. We'll want it central and as straight as possible, which is nearly impossible with me. So I'd advise you to use a bit of washi tape to stop it, excuse me, scooting around. So plonk it there. Right, I'm going to go off and cut this out on my machine. So that's my oval chopped out, so it has cut right through and give me a nice edge there. And you can keep this bit and make another card out of it at some stage. If I can get it off without ripping the paper. So it gives you a nice wee solid oval to play with later. So that's all we need out of that. So now we could go ahead and stick in our inside here. So this bit here is going to stick central to this. Just keep it same at either side here and here. Now that's stuck there, and then this will fold in like so, and this will go over here. So at this stage we now want to add our wee frame, which is this one. We're just going to stick it there, and I'm going to use a tiny bit of claw glue in places. So I'm going to make sure I put it on these larger pieces that sit top and bottom and side so they get a good grip. I'm not going to worry so much about the inside. So I'm going to go along this outside area, just along here, and the same again up here and all the outside. The longest part of this, making this card, is the decorating of it, I think. Stamping those away. I sat and stamped those flowers out and then hand cut them, and then remembered there's a day to cut them. So that was a complete and utter waste of time. But at the same time, I could cut away. The die will leave a wee white border, and because they're white flowers, I didn't want to leave a white border. So get this stuck where it's covering the part you cut. And that should all stick nicely for you. And that gives you a lovely wee frame. So now you want to do your stamped bit on this. Decide which way you're going to go. This is going to stick over the top of it. And if I go the same way as I did with this, I stamped it all to the right so that I had room to put a wee layer of flowers on this part and a wee layer on this part. So that's what I'm going to do again. And the stamp is for a special person on their special day. And again with the balmy blue. And you could go with the evening evergreen because it's actually in that particular colour. But I'm hoping this behaves itself. Put plenty on. So keep yourself over a wee bit, but remember that you're putting this on, so don't go too close to your edge. Pressing that a wee bit more than what I should, just because it's an old one. I think it does need re-inked. So that's your stamping end of that done. And we just want to stick our wee border on. Again, just claw glue and find the best place. Just check the back of it. Pull that over slightly. Now, that leaves us room for our flowers and room for this. So the only other thing we have to do now is attach it to the card so that it shows through here. And the best way I've found is, this is the way it should sit when you put it through. Now it's going to be, it's going to sit behind this. It's not going to come right through, right? Because you've got this extra border on. So I think the best is, don't flip it like this, because if you put the glue on this side, you're going to be sticking the wrong side. You only want to put glue here. And I find the best way is to turn it this way. So flip it down the ways. Set it where you think. I'm going to go this way. Set it so that oval fits in between where you cut it out of. Just play around, take your time. And to me, that is where this is going to go, but I'm using collage glue so that I can swish it about if need be and try and not go over the part where we don't want glue. So just put a wee bit on. You could use your tape runner if you want, but this gives me a wee bit of leeway without torturing it. So you want to close this up again. Decide where this closes before you press anything down. Play around with it, shift it about. It is the tricky part, like. Woo! So slide it with your finger. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to look nice. You want your wording to be straight and you want it to be sitting nice. So just keep going back in until you're happy. That the collage glue is great. Don't press it down. I just want it back over this way a wee tiny bit. Now we're really nearly there, just a fraction more. That looks good, doesn't it? It could come down a wee bit. So easy to shift it without realizing you're shifting it that far. Right, okay, that's it. That looks okay, doesn't it? It's giving me enough there for the flowers to be able to sit and still open. So I'm pressing it down, I'm going for it. So that is it, and now we just need to decorate it, which I'm not going to do with you today because it just takes too long. But you just simply stamp, get yourself scrap paper or scrap basic card, stamp it in the matching colour. Like, I'll do one for you as soon as you're here to show you how easy it is. It seriously is the quickest way to colour in that you'll ever find in your whole life. If you're in and you don't want to spend too much time doing flowers, this is the way to go. And if you're really dedicated, you could emboss it if you didn't want to even do this part. So get a wee bit of card. As I said, this ink pad is not great at the minute. So stamp that, get your Wink of Stella, no water, no nothing, just get your Wink of Stella and use it to drag the colour that you've just stamped. My colour is not particularly wet enough, so it's not showing it too well. And if you find you're not, just dip it in and get some colour out of your ink pad. It is really nice with a nice fresh ink pad. I will have to get that sorted because that's one of my favourite colours, the balmy blue. And that is it. That is all you're doing to add a wee bit of depth to your flowers, but you're keeping them white, and that'll look lovely on your card when you cut it out. It'll all tone in lovely, or as I say, you could go with the dark green ones and make it really pop. Either way, that's the quickest way that I know, other than stamping directly onto paper or cutting the flowers out of your paper. Yeah, plenty of options there. So just have fun making that, and I think it looks really pretty. Two lovely wee cards. So this one, I'll show you a picture of it when I've finished. That's me done now. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you have a lovely week ahead. Bye.